Oh, today's been another day, followed being harassed. I had made my copies. An officer from Tom stopped over and said some government official had contacted him to see if I was all right. I let him listen to some of my tapes, proving the case. He told me to take it to this one FBI building that's not marked. I got there and I couldn't walk in. I couldn't get out of the car. I sat there and I literally couldn't get out of my seat. Um, the when I tried to get the Asian lady help between July and September 19, um, some guy had been walking around me telling everybody he was an agent. I didn't talk to him. He didn't show me a badge, but he was telling everybody that. And when those three men broke in my apartment, one was a stalker, one was that guy saying he was an agent that beat, raped, and tortured me and an old fat white man between July and September 19 because I was going to turn him in. And all I could see was that torture. And to walk into a building with anybody connected, I couldn't move. I literally couldn't move. Now, if he's not an agent because he threatened to arrest me at Faith Family Church in front of 1,000 people, and the guy in my church took care of him, what you did was considered rape, you leave her alone. He may have been a dirty undercover officer from Ravenna. Hear him outside. I've taped him several times driving by screaming. Where I thought it was an agent's daughter, and that's why they participated. It came out, it was Judge Pete's. And they're playing with hell right now. I did mail it to that office. I spoke to my one friend in the prosecutor's office. He knew of that office. It is. I found out Will was retired. I really don't think he gave a damn. I really don't. I was so grateful just to even be alive at one point. I mean, I was just grateful I made it out there alive. Somebody outside of my new client's apartment, I could hear him talking. And they said he didn't know how to address the tape from before, so he just stayed out of it. That's ridiculous, and they better be lying on him. Because I had an officer from town stop in. They said somebody from the government was worried about me. And I let him listen to even my videos. He's like, you need to take it to this FBI building and see what they can do. And I made my copies, my online videos too, and then I gave him a password to my Gmail, my phone. And I told him about Dave dating a judge's daughter, and he got away with all this stuff. He said, here in Stark County, your husband would have been arrested no matter what. And I told him about the tiny cameras in my home they set up stalking me. And it was supposed to be an attorney friend, and they're lying they have a court order. He started laughing. He said, they don't get a court order for that. He said, they can't do it. He said, no judge can give it to him. And I said, and the judge couldn't order it, and it couldn't come out of that courthouse because of conflict of interest. He's like, no, he couldn't. He said they would have to excuse themselves, or something like that. I mean, we were talking about it. He's like, they can't do any of this. I said, well, the undercover police were down here from Ravenna, drive around, follow me around for a long time. He's like, they weren't allowed in our town. He said they weren't allowed in our town at all, and we didn't know they were here. He said, he said the name of my town I live in. He said, I work here. They worked there. They weren't allowed down here, and we didn't realize they were here. Yeah. So I went ahead and I emailed him that officer to give it to his government contact, everything that I had. I did look up for conflict of interest. The judge would get $1 million fine and a 10-year sentence. It's not admissible because it's for personal gain. Dave was dating Michelle, Judge Pete's daughter. For it's my daughter, her husband dates. He met her in Ravenna when she was having a stomach spell. Michelle's mother. Breaking in at Walmart Memorial Day weekend 2019. They found the tape. I was down at Fine Arts and Lasers last week in Dover, and some guy was either outside the room or in the next room. He's like, we found that idiot woman bragging they did all this for her daughter. I didn't have cameras in my home, not one. Okay, I had 3 security cameras. One went to the front door and the very edge of the garage. One went to the side yard, and one went to the back deck and a little bit of the backyard. Nowhere else. I had no cameras in my home. Not a damn bit. I had, I think, 2 motion detectors for a security system. Nothing else. Not a damn bit. They can't go in and set up tiny cameras because your ex fucks one of their daughters, and there was supposed to be a Michelle, a Lauren, a big boob girl, and a pretty girl all sleeping with Dave. Dave had 17 girlfriends in high school. He said, I gave up that life for God. He didn't. One of the men in the church had came up to him right before it started. Do you think you're better than her dating all those women? I walked off. I come back. I'm like, Dave, what's he talking about? Karen, he don't know what he's talking about. Yes, he did. He was cheating like crazy. So, yeah, that judge, no judge in that courthouse. It's friends and family. They would have had to get a hold of, it has to be a significant investigation. And it has to be police and hire. No conflict of interest. Okay? Or it's thrown out. And that courthouse, those undercover police helped out. Because it was Judge Pete's daughter and those other girls that belonged to the guys in the courthouse. Today at McDonald's, some guy yelled out, the general said for them to take care of it. Today, everything they did was illegal. Nobody showed up. People follow me, harass me like normal. I taped several of their cars follow me before they're still following me. Still think they're funny. That judge is insane. I was on Google and I looked up conflict of interest. There was 5 judges that had people raped, beat, 41 people they tried to destroy their lives, and they got 6 to 20 years. And there was 139 that also got in trouble for not excusing themselves for being biased and conflict of interest. This is something the FBI does investigate. They wouldn't care that David's fucking judgy daughter, but they care that Judge's fucky daughter and Judge and the undercover police tried to destroy the wife. Yeah, they shouldn't even have been involved. You know, it'd have been so much easier if they just paid me off. I mean, my God. Look at the drama of these people. It did. They at the gas station at the edge of town this morning. About 6:30, almost 7. Out by the pump, some guy said they found those kids saying they were making everything up before. They did. Thanksgiving of 18, they told Flora, Melissa's kids, that they were making everything up. Police and hire, and since they sold the whole login to the nation to disgrace me, they knew those kids were lying in Thanksgiving of 18. Everybody knew. They sold it before Christmas of 18. They sat back and let these people go insane on me. Okay? The first month FBI was there, people were breaking in, stabbing me with needles. I would go to stores, they'd come up to me. We always knew you were innocent. You tell someone you're arrested. I'm like, who are you? What area you mean? What were you doing in my bedroom? And Will's going to wipe everything out. What are you doing? And then they'd say stuff that wasn't true around me. And I'd just look at them and walk off. I'm like, who are you? And I would just have black and blue marks. I'd walk Dave out to the front door, put the chain on the front door. Now, we did have French doors, okay? That's the only way they could have got in, is the French doors. And there's times I found footprints on the back steps, and where I would clean the house every night and run the Swiffer, there would be leaves in the kitchen. And somebody was getting it. Well, I had woke up with black and blue marks before they got there. And I thought it was because I was moving wood and different things, and I was starting to get sick and dizzy. One time, I even woke up with a 4-inch gash on my leg, and my leg was bleeding. I said something to Dave. He's like, I called him. I said, Dave, I woke up, my leg's bleeding. He's like, maybe I scratched you with my toenail. It was white as a pencil. Yeah, I didn't wake up during it. I was that gone. Some kid in Dollar General on Sunday, he said, I seen one of those tapes before and it was really sick what they were doing to her. Now, across from my old client, Loretta, it was his girlfriend, there's 1233 13th Street. Some guy was sitting out, and he looked up at me, looked at the phone. He said, I'm not interested. They even had a choker. They say they abused me with amnesia drugs. Those amnesia drugs are date rape drugs. They roofie women in the bar. They wait a few minutes. They're sleepwalking. They're like hypnotized. Let's go. Okay. Then you go home, get undressed, tell them to say stuff, do stuff to them. They make love to them, put them back, get them dressed, put them back in their vehicle. And when they come to, they have no idea what happened to them. I talked to the nurse at Altman Hospital. There's a whole list of amnesia drugs. They were making fun of me in Plato's Closet. They give her those amnesia drugs she'll never remember. And honestly, I'm glad I don't. The rape and torture is so horrifying. I have to take bladder spasm medicine. I got punched in my private area while the other one was smothering me until I passed out, and they kept hitting me and then drugged me. My arms went down, and then they started beating me till my neighbor heard the bangs. Some people have been still breaking in my apartment. Okay. And I let the officer that stopped by here the other night listen to my neighbor's voicemail. Are you home without your car? He said she needs to start calling the police and we'll come over and take care of it. Well, I told him to call the Massillon police, that they'll tell him I'm innocent and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Well, I told him about the attorney and the judge. He's like, nobody could have said a word to you. Nobody could. And he's like, they can't do this. And he said, we didn't realize the undercover police from Ravenna are here. They did not have a right to be in our town. He said they only work in Ravenna. They had no right being down here. He said, I am only this town's police, and that's all they are, if they're undercover or not. They can't come down here and watch you. They have broke so many laws. Now, I did not have any cameras in my home. Not any. Okay? They shouldn't even have known about the toxic water. I just wiped it off with clothes on. Somebody said her family didn't even think anything about it. Well, no, you just wipe off running water with clothes on. It's not that big a deal. I mean, Jen was sitting with her legs apart on the couch and went out and adjusted her underwear or pad in front of everybody. People adjust themselves all the time. Baseball players, basketball players, guys, football players, bathing suits, tiny shorts. You got like 3 to 5 minutes to fix yourself real quick. And I didn't expose myself. I'm good. Like they said in Rite Aid. And honestly, even that officer said, we couldn't even look at any of that stuff before the FBI. It's not admissible. Not even a little bit. Massillon Police, where I took my new client to stat care a week ago Monday, the Massillon Police was in there. They said, I'm here to watch her. Steve, there's a Steve and Eric Stockton, and we're looking for him. Okay? And it's finally got funny after everything they did to her. Nothing's admissible. Okay? Well, I talked to the prosecutor. Well, the prosecutor's my friend. He said, Karen, there's laws he told me before, there's laws to protect you from everything. And he said, none of that's admissible. And then this officer did too. It's not. I Googled it. Attorneys can only tape you out in public. They can't set up and no judge can give them a court order. And with them being Judge Pete's daughter, he couldn't order anything. And with Dave dating a couple of the other guys' daughters too, trying to steal everything I have left, they couldn't. No court order can come out of that courthouse. And the undercover police knew Dave beat me with internal injuries, didn't retaliate, sexually assaulted me. Tapes of it during the investigation. Okay? And they didn't arrest him. The gunshot night, I don't know if those men are dead or not. Someone needs to rip it apart. And he even admits he had the people threaten me and worse. They paid people to know where I was. Yeah, all that. And I have all that on tape. And it's Bruce and Hire tapes too. Him doing all that shit. Now, anything before the FBI is not admissible. Dave even defends me on tape. That's how bad it is. You're good to all the kids and all the grandkids, no matter who it is. Be pretty rotten if Moses does anything bad about you. Be childish. I taped him. Trust no man. But yeah, somebody outside my new clients, he didn't know how to dress it with her before about that tape. He was embarrassed, so he just let him do whatever he wanted. That's not being an agent. That's being somebody who don't give a damn about their job. I don't care if he was old and ready to retire. He should have got the young guys and said, you're not allowed to tape her unaware like that. He's dating that judge's daughter. I know that. We already found it out. And you had to exclude yourself and then call us and see if it was significant enough for us to take it. You can't just do this. You go to jail like the other 5 that had people raped and tried to steal everything they had in corruption. And they put them in jail from 6 to 20 years. And another 139 judges got in trouble for being conflict of interest and bias for personal gain. They don't think they can get in trouble, and they can. And public corruption, white-collar crimes, is exactly what the FBI destroys. They had told him in May, get rid of all your tapes before and shut the fuck up. That's exactly what they told him. You tell them to get rid of all those tapes before and to shut the fuck up. They can't even look at them. Yeah. I've had 2 police officers say something, and a prosecutor. They can't even look at them. Well, shouldn't have. No. And you know what's really bad? There's so many different versions of them where they altered them. There's basic wiping off water with clothes on. Didn't expose yourself, you're good. And then other people said, they had to expose yourself. The two clips together, put it in a porn. That didn't happen. And then you expose yourself, start being aware with it. That didn't happen either. Not an image. That's why they're not admissible with tiny cameras in your home. It's stalking. It's stalking in the intent for extortion to get away with premeditated murder. They said in Ravenna, this is a case of how to get away with murder. They said it in January or February 19. This is a real life case of how to get away with murder. I need the neural chip out. I'm not joking. 12/21/18. Stabbed in the neck of the refrigerator, abducted, woke up with a big dent in my skull, about that big. Okay. Hair missing, another man's comb on the dresser. 6 hours later, I wake up. Where I'm at the refrigerator. Foggy, hazy, dark, out. Migraine for 8 months. Felt like half my head was going to explode. Okay? They show up at Walmart with cell phones. We implanted a neural chip. We all can read your thoughts. I thought they were lying. No, they did. They took responsibility at Altman Hospital March 13th to Dr. Ellen Atinas. Some damn bastard neurochip me said he already knew. Mercy Medical can see they cut the wires in the crack. I was in sheets on Monday about 3 o'clock, 3:30. And some guy came walking in. That is no mind reader, because now they're trying to say it's a mind reader. No mind reader can feed into cell phones. And trust me, it hurt like hell when that diahead at the hospital told me if they take the chip out and the swelling, you're going to go back to normal. They're waiting for it to die, and they have for me to die from it. They act like they got something planned before Christmas. Nobody wants another gunshot night. I was wondering, why would you stop trying to kill someone? You hire 6 main stalkers, then there's that African-American girl and her white boyfriend. There's the guy that got behind me the first day I called FBI at Wood Forest, mumbling third and fourth, and I'm like, Nick, give me my money. He's right behind me. They follow me, and I see some guy across the Walmart, and pull in too, make a beeline. I get in Wood Forest, I hear some guy get behind me, and I'm like, Nick, give me my money. And he's reading notes, and I'm like, Nick, I mean it. I said, what are you doing? Give me my money. I can hear third. And I'm like, Nick, give me my money. If my husband and his friends are playing games with me, just give me my money. Well, the guys surrounded him, and he took off. And some of the guys were talking. Did he have a knife in his hands? Yeah, I was in high danger. I almost got shot in the head driving, going down to John's the first month. I had a slam tuck and swerve. I had 2 other men threatening my life in Grinders and Minerva. The gunshot night, I had a high night to get murdered that night. Dave's beating on me. People were breaking in, stabbing me with needles in front of the FBI. And they didn't stop, and they lied. They had sodium pentothal reports. They don't use sodium pentothal. Why? False confession, sodium pentothal. Google, invest. Questioner gets what it wants, right or wrong. You say yes to everything falsely confessed on the board. Lethal sodium pentothal is used to put animals, humans down in anthrax. Illegal sodium pentothal, FDA prohibits any use in humans and not to be brought in the United States. So they're not going to give you a lethal injection to make you say yes. It's spy flick movie stuff. That's exactly what it says. They were giving me amnesia drugs. And they were abusing me. And where I thought I just had bruises from moving wood for the, start moving it where David dropped trees and just like chunk it, and I would go get the trailer and move it and stack it for him. I worked like hell on that house. I worked like a guy. I'd go out for hours and work on that house. I thought I had bruises from moving wood. More likely it was from them stabbing me. And Dave was roofing drinks and I was throwing up right before it started really bad. Hear them? They're not funny. They sold the login. See what I mean? It went clear across the country. They made millions. Hear it? They sold it to Wyoming, California, Washington, Texas, Indiana, Illinois, Michigan, New York, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Kentucky, North Carolina, Virginia, Georgia, and Florida. Most people were good that showed up. I had a 2-mile long possession. They sold it before Christmas of 18. You know, Will should have known his job of, I can't look at that, you're part of this. And I know he's dating your daughter and you can't write a court order, and I know no attorney can set up cameras. And what would be your significant investigation that you didn't call us and you didn't excuse yourself for because you're getting in trouble for not excusing yourself in that courthouse for being biased? Because before I arrest you for that, where I can't look at these, but why the hell did you do this to the woman that they're trying to kill? Because your daughter's dating him? You're part of it. It's when he should have looked at him, because that's the law. That's the law. And the neurochip does need to come out within 2 weeks of them being neurochipped. I had Muslim women show up with the hijab hair things where you can only see their eyes. I've had them on and off around me for 3 years almost. Yeah, these people thinking they can tape me unaware, alter tapes, break in and stab me with needles in my sleep, or roofie drinks when I'm out of the room, and tell me say something stupid. I didn't see anybody. I didn't invite them in my home. They broke in. And then try to extort money and try to get me in trouble for their crimes is ridiculous. Like I said, if you want the top 10 stupidest wanted list, it's right outside my door. They follow me around. We drugged this poor woman. We told her to say something stupid. We taped her unaware. There's several tapes of different things, and we altered them. We get money, right? Oh, some guys at my new client's Paul's, they said that attorney thinks it's funny taping her unaware, altering those tapes and drugging her and having her to say telling her what to say and trying to get her in trouble for it. They're not funny. No, it's not. And it's highly illegal. And that judge being in there for his baby girl. And then that Lauren and the big boob girl in the dark. Yeah, it was several of the guys on the team in that courthouse. They had excused that whole freaking courthouse. You know, they had enough nerve on October 5th, walk out of McDonald's in Belgium. They got it on tape. They did all this because they liked his girlfriend better. Oh, it's okay. I was down at the Dollar General on Cleveland Avenue the other day. They came in and went, Judge Pete's going to get that family money. For what? Melissa's kids got caught, like they said, Thanksgiving of 18. They said they made everything up. Police and hire tapes. And the whole nation knows. And they don't give people money for stalking me in my home. And then altering tapes from something simple, wiping something off, to making it look like a porn where they break to the neighbors. They put 2 clips together and made a porn. And I told you where one of the extortionists was in Save-A-Lot. I don't know that person. What were they doing stalking me in my home as part of that extortion group in that courthouse? Like I said, that one place, there was 5 judges, did it to 41 people, had them raped, tried to destroy their life and steal everything, and they went to jail 6 to 20 years, all 5 of them. They can't do this. And that was in another area, and another 139 got in trouble for not excusing themselves for being biased. You can't do any of this. Those tapes are so altered that I have some people look at me. All she did is wipe water off her clothes on. They shouldn't even know. They're not even allowed to show that. They weren't allowed in my home. According to the law, they owe me compensation for personal damages. Do you know I may have a septal infract in my heart now? That's documented it wasn't there, caused by drugs. Probably. What else would cause it? I mean, that fast and damaged. This isn't funny. I'm a human being. And just because Dave fucked a little blonde whore that couldn't keep her legs closed, and I'm sorry for being rude, but seriously? And then those other girls that are nothing but whores, and their parents want to extort money and get the wife in trouble to help get away with murder? It ain't funny. You know, it's not. None of this is. And somebody needs to rip that courthouse apart. It's not funny. And they got a lot of explaining. I let that officer listen to just a few of my tapes of Dave admitting things. And I said, these are police and hire tapes. They were during the investigation. He said, here in Stark County, we would have arrested your husband. No matter who he was dating, he would have went to jail. And I told him about the tapes before he crossed his arms and he started laughing. He said, we can't even look at them. They're not admissible. No judge can do this. He said, and that courthouse couldn't be involved at all. Conflict of interest is a 10-year sentence and a $1 million fine. They have a lot of explaining to do. They've told them to get rid of their tapes before and to shut the fuck up. They can't even legally look at them. Like I said, Rite Aid, they even said you didn't expose yourself, you're good. Mercy Medical, you just adjusted yourself. That's it. And then, like the guys that moved, the guy that died out in the apartment building for my new clients, I seen that tape of him before, and she just wiped off running water with clothes on. That's it. He said, I know. She's not like that before. She's just wiping water off with clothes on. It's not wrong. Like they said, you didn't expose yourself, you're good. And then that older African-American woman, she exposed her mama, and I'm like, no, I didn't. And then some guy's like, you exposed yourself and you're weird. I'm like, no, I didn't. I mean, that's why. They're not admissible. They can't even look at them. The only thing they could do, okay, you're part of it. You've stalked her in her home in an attempt of extortion. We're going to go through and see if we see any of you guys stabbing her with needles. We can't listen to anything else. We'll just go through and real quick. You stab her with a needle, you abuse her, you're in jail, you're part of this, you're part of this, you're part of this, and you're part of this, and you're going to jail. That's the law. They can't do this. There's actually laws that protect me from everything. There's rights to privacy. There is rights to remain silent, legal representation, and there was no probable cause for them to be in my home. And no conflict of interest can ever bring them into my home. They can't do it. Just, her husband dated the judge's daughter, so we're going to destroy her and rape her and drug her, put a legal war weapon in her head. And, you know, they maybe was trying to sneak it to, a terrorist. And using me for like a moose. I don't even believe in the government shipping people. It's against my religion. I love our government, and these people are insane. Insane. Absolutely insane. Insane. Not one thing they have is admissible. They had said months ago all their evidence was illegally obtained and cannot be used. You can't do this. You have to be police and hire in a significant investigation with a definite probable cause to be there. They can't tape in bedrooms, bathrooms, and no nudes. Even the FBI can't do it. They can't just set up and start watching you. They get in trouble. And there was only a significant reason for them to be there. When I called the hotline and Will called me back, and then 4 days later I called him back because Dave was trying to kill me and realized all the attempts before was him. And those people were there. He should have looked at me and said, this is over, Karen. They're crazy. I'm getting you out of here. He should have looked at him and said, you got a tape before the FBI? You were stalking her, and I'll arrest you too for being part of it, because that's the law. Did he just not give a damn about his job anymore? He should have gave me to somebody else, because it was a big, big case. And it's still going on. You want public corruption, drugs and kidnapping, rape and torture. Yeah, you want attempted murder. You want everything that they investigate. It's right here. I couldn't believe they stopped trying to kill me. Why would you stop trying to kill me? You tried so hard. And then all of a sudden you stopped. And I was so grateful it stopped while all these people from the United States showed up. And I thought, well, they quit. Well, why'd they quit? They're going to wait. And then when I tried to help the Asian lady that said her husband got killed on the gunshot night, they raped and tortured me and warned me to stay quiet. It's not funny. They let them see me in the bathrooms, the toilet, the shower, the rape and torture. People breaking in, stabbing me with needles. They were stabbing me with needles the first month in front of the FBI, and they didn't stop them. And there's no damn excuse. You couldn't do this to someone on death row. And I asked for their help. And they knew I was innocent. Good agents, we all know you're innocent. It's not your fault when somebody tapes you unaware, alters the tapes, and then tries to extort money. Or drugs you, and we all know that ass drugged me too. And then he defends me on tape. You're good to the kids and all the grandkids. I tape them. Trust no man. Okay, I need somebody to show up. The chip needs to come out, and they're talking about having something planned before Christmas. These people cannot do a damn thing. They cannot even enter anything. They're like they said, it's ridiculous. They're the criminals. Hear them scream? They are. They are. They're the extortion group run out of that courthouse. Somebody needs to come down and help me. Please.